Welcome to the talk with a mysterious title, Why Security? Correctly in English, it should be written this way, Why Security? But first of all, who am I? My name is Tomasz Wróbel. I'm working for Asseco Poland. I'm a software designer and developer, and within that role, I focus a lot on security. Thanks to that, some of my colleagues call me security-minded developer. Let's begin with why I'm talking about security on a developers conference. On conference for developers like this, I hear a lot of developers saying, I'm not going to see this talk. This talk is for security guys, not for developers. I'm glad that not everyone thinks this way, as evidenced by the fact that you're here. I believe that you haven't chosen this talk only because of the mysterious title, and you have some interest in security, which is great. And because of that, you may have heard in the past, or maybe you'll hear in the future, such a question from your product owner or from manager. Why security? Why you want to include security tasks into the backlog? Our application is already secure, right? Right? This could be followed by other questions with some buzzwords like, and what about the SAST and DAST and the WAF that we already have? Is that not enough? No, it's not enough. Because in security, we should take castle approach, also called defense in depth. Like in medieval castles, we should incorporate security on many layers. In the castle, it was moats, towers, walls, and other things. In application, we should incorporate it on network load balancers, web application firewalls, so WAFs, servers, applications, code-based verification with SAS and DAST, browser headers for web application. Let's have a look how we deal with security during development. It doesn't matter if you use Agile or Waterfall. Often security comes as the last part of the process, just before the application is released and deployed. Also, development and delivering new features nowadays is really fast, and a security guy can have problems with catching up with it. Also, when you have an application, a new feature comes in, it goes to the design, to the coding phase, to the testing phase again, and then to the security guy, who can be in trouble because he will test your new feature from a security perspective. But he also should think about testing the whole application as well, and he could have a problem, what and how to retest it. There's a concept of shifting security left, so on this diagram to testing, coding, and design phase, which is great. Why security during development and design? Because if you found problem quicker, early, it will be fixed quicker and cheaper. Why are we thinking of shifting left? In my opinion, we should shift everywhere. We should incorporate security during release, deploy, and operation phase as well. From our managers and product owners' perspective, the time you spend on security is the time you don't spend on the business. Just imagine for a moment that you're a lead developer in a project that was finished ahead of time. And I don't mean 1 hour ahead of time. I mean 2-3 weeks ahead of time. I know it doesn't happen too often, but just imagine for a moment. You go to your boss and tell, hey boss, we finished. We've got 2 weeks left and we want to include, and he goes, whoa, that's great. I want to add some new features so we make more money. And he goes like, actually we want to include new security measurements in the application. And he's like, new features, more money, security. You see the dilemma. It would be ideal if you'd be able to classify security levels, like we do with food, with Nutri-Score, or energy labels with electrical devices. And there is such a way. Software maturity models. One of them is Software Assurance Maturity Model from OWASP. Please have a look at here. It's divided into 5 groups with 3 subjects in each. Each of those subjects includes 2 objectives, which are called stream A and B, but they are parallel, they are equally the same, equally important. Each of them has 3 maturity levels, and each of them is one question to verify. That's in total 90 questions. And the answers to the questions is one of the 4. No, we don't do it, or we don't have it. Yes, for some, meaning for some teams, for some modules, for some parts of application, for some applications. Yes, for half, at least half of it. And yes, for most or all. Those answers are mapped there into points, which gives you your assessment score. Looks big, scary, complicated? Yes, I'm not going to say it's easy. It includes work of developers, DevOps guys, security guys, managers. Maybe you'll need to bring some security consultant into the project just to complete it. But in my opinion, it's a great way to start to talk about security in your projects. Let's drill into some of those objectives: trainings and awareness. Level 1 requires training awareness for employees included in development process. Those trainings should be required, repeatable, up-to-date, consistent, and available to everyone, including onboarding. Level 2 requires customized trainings for specific roles, like for different special training for developers, special for testers, special for security champions. Level 3 requires implementation of learning management system to track your trainings and certifications. Let's look at another objective: technology management. Level 1 requiring preparing a list of most important technologies that you use in application. Level 2 requires that you have a full list of all recommended used technologies, and this list should be approved and reviewed by lead architects and developers. Level 3 means that this list should be enforced, so no technology that is not approved before can be used in a project. As you see here, as the level goes up, it's become harder to comply with as it becomes more complicated and demanding. Let's have a look at one more: software dependencies. Level 1 required a solid knowledge about dependencies. That means implementation of software bill of materials, which is a report that shows you the list of dependencies that you use in the projects with their versions. Do you remember Log4j vulnerabilities, which happened a few months ago? You remember going from project to project, from repo to repo, checking if you're using Log4j and which version is it? Well, if you would have that report, you would know it straight away. Level 2 requires handling, the formal process of handling dependencies that you see in the projects. Anyone in the room use NPM packages? Okay, so there's a few. Have you heard of this package? It's odd. All it does, it checks if the number is an odd number, and it has 2 million downloads per month. Is even is not far off it, over 1 million per month. Just imagine that those packages were created by some developer who open sourced them, put them onto GitHub and NPM repository. If this guy one day decided he wanted to put malware into it, this malware would be in your project. Or if his account was taken over by someone who wants to put malware, same story. That's why we need a way of stopping developers adding loads of dependencies that they like, because we know they intend to add dependencies, and they're very relaxed with it. Level 3 requires you to fail a build if there is a known vulnerability in at least one of your dependencies. That also requires that you should analyze the open source dependencies you bring into the project the same as your own code. So if you're using SAST for your own code, you should do static analysis as well for dependencies. Once software assurance maturity model is completed, you get a maturity score. Overall number is one thing, but more important is even the breakdown by the subject. It can be viewed on a radar chart like this. This shows you straight away the weaknesses, so areas for improvements. To sum it up, software assurance maturity model can be used for setting the priorities, identifying areas of focus, defining action plans, and it's a great communication framework to talk about security. Let's come back to our why security question and perspective of product owners and managers. Yes, the time you spend on security is not the time you spend on your business features, but you have to provide business safely. Managers and product owners understand that much better since ransomware and GDPR, but we still need a better way to talk to them about security and security improvements. Let's say that you've done the whole model and your result is 11 out of 45, because 45 is the maximum score. On its own, it doesn't sound great, doesn't it? But if it's provided with a plan of improvements, and it's provided with that it's 11 now, but if we add software bill of materials, threat modeling for critical processes, formal process of accepting dependencies and technologies used in a project, improve secret management, provide trainings, it will grow up from 11 to 19. And in my opinion, showing improvements as a number is critical when talking to business people. Because we well know that business people love numbers and Excels. And what they don't like is fines and losing reputation, which will happen if business is not provided safely. I encourage you to explore further software maturity models. In my opinion, that's the best answer on questions like why security and how security. Thanks for your attention. It's time for your questions.